Hey, Cobb families. My name is Jeff McClellan. I'm one of the directors at Tsunami Volleyball. For those of you who came to our first information session in person, I appreciate you coming out and understand there was a good crew that was on the Zoom schedule, a Zoom call as well, but unfortunately that the audio was not very good. So we're going to take a few minutes and kind of redo the meeting specifically for Cobb family. So if I can, hopefully this will answer some of your questions. It should take just a few minutes and we'll just kind of run through it and you guys can pause on the screens where you need to see a little bit more information. So anyway, let's get started. So I normally put these in. This is just to show what our athletes have done over the past couple of years. I just want you guys to be able to see on each of these screens where our athletes have played. As we look at these things, you'll notice that there is every single level imaginable as far as Division I, Division II, Division III, JUCO, NAIA, a little bit of everything. You'll notice there's some top 10 programs in the country. Penn State here, UCF was that season was also ranked very high. Furman, you'll see the University of Georgia, you'll see Georgia Tech, you'll see Notre Dame, NYU, UNC. The athlete that went UNC is currently at Baylor, which is a top 25 program. So our athletes are playing at the highest levels, and so that's part of what we do. One of the things that we do better than anybody else is our recruiting program. We have an actual program where we have a recruiting director that sits down and meets with the athletes and helps not only get the athlete engaged in what's necessary to go play in college, but also helps picking what schools. One of the things that is a negative for me is when an athlete goes to a school and it's not the right fit for them. And so we do our best to help not only help the athlete get recruited, but also help them figure out where it is that they want to go play. And then we've got a whole series of emails and we run showcases within our organization to help our athletes get. So there's a lot of value added in our recruiting program that's not it's not something that we charge for. It's just something that we do because we enjoy helping our athletes out. And as the previous screens have shown, it works. At Cobb, we're going to be using 4 locations. We have the new Tsunami Cobb Center, which is a 3-court plus a half court for setters and middles training, which is at 1300 Cobb International. It's right across the street from McCullum Field, the airport here in Cobb County. Right up the street is the Kennesaw Parks and Rec facility, which we'll be using, and then we're using East Cobb Middle School and McCleskey Middle School. So those of you who have been with Cobb before will recognize McCleskey. East Cobb is new for us. Kennesaw Parks and Recs is new for us. So those are our 4 locations this season. Each season at Tryouts, we have athletes that sign up for the wrong age group. So this part's pretty important. Your age based on USA Volleyball is how old you are next year on July 1st. So July 1st, 2023, your age is the lowest age group you can compete. My daughter's 10 years old. On July 1st of 2023, she'll still be 10. And so she can compete in the 10 and under age group. There are a couple of variables to that. An 18-year-old in their junior season can play 17s twice. The reason for that is recruiting purposes. So there is a waiver that you have to get. So if that's you, just talk to us and we'll talk you through how to make that happen. There's also a little bit of a variance. The July 1st to September 1st group of athletes are often the younger age group, but an older graduating class. So we want to treat those athletes, and not differently is not the right word. We want to have a conversation about what's best for your daughter. Does she play her age group or does she play her graduating class? So if that's you, give us, at some point in this, the next couple of weeks here, let's have a conversation about where you should try out. All right, we have 5 competition levels within Tsunami. Just to keep these pretty simple, there is a chart on here, or that we'll post along with this video, that gives you the specifics. But in short, it's this. The elite teams are going to travel further and play higher level competition. These are the athletes that are the gym rats. You can't get them out of the gym. They practice 3 or 4 times a week and they want more. So those are our teams that typically finish in the top 100 in the country. They're almost always in the top 4 or 5 in the region. And so those are our highest achieving teams. Something to note that's important for our elite teams is that playing time at the elite level is not guaranteed. You are guaranteed practice time, but we do not guarantee playing time at the elite level. It's earned in practice. Not that we want anybody to sit on the bench, but you got to have to earn your playing time. So our next level is our national level. The national level is what COBB Atlanta called their travel level. So it is a little bit lower involvement financially, a little bit lower involvement time-wise than the elite level, but it's the athletes that still want to train at that same level, still compete at that same level. So it just involves a little bit less travel. That's kind of the simplified version of it. At the national level, again, playing time is not guaranteed. We do treat those teams as our elite teams. They just do a few things differently. And at the elite and national level, practice time is guaranteed, but playing time is not. So this is the one that's going to be confusing for everybody. This is our premier level. So at COBB, premier was your local level. At Tsunami, premier is our regional level. So sorry for the change in terminology, but our premier level has been regional for a long time. So anyway, in short version, premier are the athletes that want to train at a high level, but only want to do Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, maybe South Carolina, just the surrounding states. They want to play a regional schedule. They practice twice a week. This is a great thing for two-sport athletes that still want to compete and play good volleyball, but also are doing other things. At the premier level, playing time is not guaranteed, but playing time is considered fair but not equal. So basically, everybody's going to play in pool play, and then when we get to bracket play, we're playing to win. So that's kind of the short version of our premier level. Again, premier is regional at Tsunami. ATL, this is also going to be confusing a little bit for COBB families. ATL for us is our Atlanta teams. They're going to play in the metro area. There's no travel involved. Something that's a little bit different for our local teams is we do practice 2 days a week. I feel like that's important at this level, that if we're going to progress, that we get in the gym a little bit more. So playing time at the ATL level, again, in the metro area only, is equal where possible. Meaning that if I've only got one setter, that one setter is going to play more than anybody else, obviously. But as much as we can, everybody's going to play equally at the ATL level. So our select program is our in-house league that practices once a week, and then has 4 or 5 competitions during the season, and then they'll play an end of the season tournament. So playing time at the select level is guaranteed. Athletes are with the opportunity to play multiple positions. It's a great train and play league. Tryout information is on our website. On the first page, if you click on the big picture that says Tryout registration, it'll take you to a page that says Tsunami COBB. You can click on that link, and then that will take you to all the information and the registration link for 8 to 14 and 15 through 18. So that information is on there. There has been a change in the Tsunami COBB times, so make sure that what's on the website is correct. Make sure that you have written it down correctly. So one of the questions we always get asked is, I want to try out for more than one club. What should I do? And I always say this: go on day one to the first choice, whatever your club is that you want to play for. Go there first. Meaning, if Tsunami is your first choice, you need to show up on day one to Tsunami. If you don't, because I will tell you that all of the larger clubs at this point are trying to fill up their teams on day one to make sure that our teams make, and to make sure that we can meet our financial aspirations and all that kind of stuff. And so we're all putting our teams together as quickly as possible. Tsunami will pick all of our 1 team, all of our 2 team, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 athletes on day 1. That is for our elite team specifically, and then we will also look at putting together most of our national team, our national 1 team on day 1, and part of national 2, if we're going to make all 4 of those teams. So if you're not in our gym on day 1, there's a good chance that instead of competing for one of 12 spots on day 2, you're going to be competing for one of maybe 1 spot. And so you definitely will help yourself by showing up to our gym on day 1 if we are your first choice. If you go somewhere else and you don't get what you want, and you want to come back, you need to pick up the phone and call us immediately, and then we'll see what's available at that point. Go ahead and register in advance as well. That helps us out in terms of making sure you have a T-shirt, making sure that we have all the coaches assigned, and it helps you expedite the process once you get in our gym. So a couple of questions that always get asked. So I'm going to try out for Elite. If I don't make it, you guys, what happens there? All right, so we automatically, the athletes that try out for Elite that don't make it, we automatically look at them for National. For the ones that still don't make it or tried out for National and don't make it, we invite you back to Premier. If you don't make it at Premier, we invite you back to ATL. And then if you don't make it at ATL, you're guaranteed a spot in our select group. So what we recommend is that you try out for the highest level that you would really like to play. So if you're a national kid and you're like, well, I might like to play Elite, and then go ahead and try out for Elite. The worst thing that's going to happen is we just say, hey, no, that we don't have a spot for you at this point. So we want you to try out for the highest level of what makes sense for you and your family. Second part of that is, if I don't make it the top level, whatever Elite level or national level, whatever, do I have to register again? No, one registration covers you for all of our locations and all of our levels. Then the other question is, Elite and National are 2-day tryouts. Do I need to attend both days of tryouts? Yes. Day 1 is very much so individual skill driven. Day 2 is very much so team competition driven. If you get offered a spot on day 1, it's even more important that you come back for day 2, because we're trying to fill out that team and we want the quote unquote new kid to see what you look like and how you play. And so you being here helps recruit a better team around you. So you definitely want to be at both days. And then again, tsunamivolleyball.com/tryouts for the registration link. And then our train for tryouts opportunities are going on every day. We're in the gym all day Sunday. We're in the gym all day, each day during the week. Sorry, I can't speak. In order to give you the best service, you need to be in our gym in advance, because we want to give you more than 2 hours or 3 hours of our attention in terms of trying to put you in the right spot. I don't want to put you on too high of a team, and I don't want to put you on too low of a team. And so the more you can be in our gym, the better we're going to do with giving you the best option within our club. So this is a big difference from what COBB Atlanta did to what Tsunami COBB is going to do. Travel and housing, this is a big one. We are not putting your athletes in rooms together. As a parent of a kid who plays, when I go to a tournament in wherever and I rent a room for myself, or I get a room for myself, I'm paying 100% of that room. If my athlete is now going to stay in an additional room, I'm now paying 25% of that room. So as a parent, I'm paying 125% for hotels, and it just doesn't make sense, because I'm already there and I like having my kid in the room with me, and I can see to it that she goes to bed on time and she eats well and she gets up on time and she doesn't stay up all night. And so we are not going to book rooms for athletes. We're not going to make athletes stay together and put athletes in charge, or put coaches in charge of the athletes. You will be in charge of your own family. So I think that is a good thing, and the price, your tuition reflects that change of dropping the cost of hotels out, as well as flights. We're not booking flights in advance for you guys. You guys are on your own to do that. So if you want to stay at the Motel 6 or the Ritz, you stay at the Motel 6 or the Ritz, and so that will take care of itself. We will book rooms. We will book blocks of rooms that you guys can stay in. But it's on you. We'll send out the email that says, hey, we've Embassy Suites. Here's the price. Here's the location. If you want to stay in the team block, go ahead and put your credit card down. And if you choose to, you choose to. And if you choose not to, you choose not to. Obviously, stay-to-play events, which are our national qualifiers, is a little different thing, but we'll communicate what that means for those of you who don't know what that means. We'll communicate that when it is necessary. So, again, your athletes will stay with you at travel tournaments. Sorry. So a couple of differences going in. We start to go into the season fees slides, which I know is what you guys are all interested in. A couple of things to note specifically for Tsunami. The number that you're going to see is everything that you would owe to Tsunami. It is uniforms, it is coaches' travel, it is everything except your travel and your family's travel. So you can budget. This is everything that you will owe to Tsunami. No additional uniform fees, no additional coaching fees. Everything is included in that price. For 13 through 18 Elite, and I'm going to see if I can move I can't move it. So sorry, my face is in the way, but 13 through 15 Elite and 15 through 18 National, nationals, USAV or AAU nationals is included in your tuition. So you'll notice there's kind of a big jump between 12 elite and 13 elite. That's why. So make sure as you look at this, those teams are going to compete through July. So please put that on your calendar if you're going to try out at those levels. So again, everything is covered in this fee. And nationals is included, 13 through 18 elite and 15 through 18 national levels. So these are the fees for the 2022-2023 season. I'm going to let you guys pause the slide and you can look at it as much as you want to. But again, 18 elite, $4,600, that's everything you would pay to Tsunami. Now, where things are missing, like I have an 11 elite and a 12 elite, but there's no 11 national, there is a 12 national, there's no 12 premier, so there's some things that are missing. The reason for that is that the schedules between 12 national and 12 premier would be just about the same. So there's not room to make two separate levels there that's $100 difference. We won't make enough teams to make that worthwhile. So where stuff is missing, our intent is that you'll play either 11 elite or 11 ATL, and that's going to cover everybody because there's not a huge difference there's not enough room to make it 11 national and 11 premier. So it's not that we don't want that level of kid to play, it's that they fit within one of the other two levels. So if that makes sense. Now at the ATL level, which is our local level, we will not host a 17s and an 18s local level. There are other opportunities to go play that are not club. We don't have the club space to host those levels. So there you go. For those of you that were at the in-person first Zoom meeting, you got a piece of paper that looked like this, and I'm going to hold this up close to the camera, and you guys can pause it and look at it if you want to. Hopefully you'll be able to see what some of these things are. I know it's not perfect, but it has most of the information on it. But the reality is I'm going to post that on our website within the next 48 to 72 hours, so you'll be able to go and look and see all of that. On our website right now is a spreadsheet that says what comes with each level. So you'll be able to see that 14 elite is going to go to 2 qualifiers, and USA or AAU nationals, you'll be able to see how many practices a week they have. You'll be able to see all that kind of information. That's already on our website. As far as the tournament schedule is concerned, we have so many different locations that it's difficult to say all of our teams are going to go to this tournament, because then we just end up playing each other. So we have to get 5 locations, 5 levels of teams separated out. So it just takes us a little bit of time, but all of that is going to start being posted on the website this week. So you'll be able to see all of our tournament schedules soon. For those of you that like to plan ahead, here are the important dates for our 2022-2023 season. Obviously, the coaches meeting is not important to you guys, but you'll be able to see when we break for Thanksgiving, when we break for Christmas. At the bottom, Sunshine, Big South, SRVA Regionals, it has the dates on those. So you can go ahead and plan ahead. And we ask, obviously, if you are planning on going to USA or AAU Nationals, that you plan your calendar such that you don't take vacations during that time, because we want to make sure that we are able to meet our obligations to each of our teams. So anyway, that should give you a good running start as to what our season looks like. And we'll be putting out more information as we go. During Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'll have camps and clinics and things going on. We just pause our team practices because we know we typically have a lot of people who travel during that time. So we think we have all of this worked out. We've got probably 85% of our coaches assigned at this point. I just wanted to go over a couple of these. So Amy and Bree at 10 and under are both college coaches. Trina at 11s is a former college coach. We just want to point out the amount of importance that we put on our 12 and under program. These are all highly decorated coaches that are on here, and are all one-team coaches for us at most of our levels. And we make a point to push them at 12 and under so that all of our kids get the basics correct. So this is a great location for you guys to put your 12 and under athletes, as far as coaching, as far as being able to compete at a high level, and as far as having lots of opportunities to do things in the gym. So we'll go over the full coaches list. We're putting it on the website now. We've got about 3 one teams that are still assigning assistant coaches and that sort of stuff. And until we finish with all of that, we're not going to post all of it until we've had the opportunity to have all of the complete conversations. But this list is coming this week. If you don't follow us on social media or currently get our newsletters, please sign up to do so. That's where we post all of our most up-to-date information. It's where we push all of our information about our coaches and tournament schedules and all that kind of stuff is through our newsletters and through our social media. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever your method is, we're out there and we're doing. Parents specifically, if you still have a bunch of club questions, sign up for that newsletter. We push everything out through that, and it's about every 10 days, so you're not going to get overwhelmed with it, but you'll get a lot of information from us that way. These are probably some important things for you to know. At Tsunami COBB, Amanda. Hey COBB families, my name is Jeff McClellan. I'm one of the directors at Tsunami Volleyball. For those of you who came to our first information session in person, I appreciate you coming out and understand there was a good crew that was on the Zoom schedule, a Zoom call as well, but unfortunately that the audio was not very good. So we're going to take a few minutes and kind of redo the meeting specifically for COBB family. So if I can, hopefully this will answer some of your questions. It should take just a few minutes and we'll just kind of run through it and you guys can pause on the screens where you need to see a little bit more information. So anyway, let's get started.